Hello all, today I want to go over something that I think is extremely important for us as singers to get to, and that is how do we get to a point of unlocking our natural singing voice, right? A lot of times we're looking and doing covers of other artists that can run us into the comparison game. It can also lead us down a path of going, what's my voice? How do I find that? What do I need to do? So today I want to cover 5 tips that you can start to do and apply today that can help you discover your natural singing voice. Number 1, guys, this is going to be a combination of different technical things to allow you to get to that point, because that's really what it comes down to. It is going to be a lot of exploring and trying different things, and in that process you might come to a point where you hear sounds that you just don't feel are your natural voice. And one key indicator that I would say is a big red flag that you are not in your natural voice is, I'll share it at the end. No, I will. I'll share that at the end. It's going to be a huge thing that I think with any of this stuff is going to be your go-to. But number 1, what is something technical that you can do to make sure that you are really in your natural voice? And that is going to be making sure that you relax your body, your shoulders, right? Because the vocal cords are here. How sound is produced, you breathe in, the vocal cords open, you swallow, they close. When you are speaking or singing, air passes through them. It causes them to go between open and closed positions and vibrate. When you sing higher, they stretch. When you sing lower, why am I losing the word for that? But basically tighten and loosen. Hello. If you're new to this channel, this isn't anything new, but I hope it is entertaining for you and also educational. But that being said, that's how voice is produced. So if you are tight, there's no way that you're going to be in your natural voice because you are not in good, proper placement, right? Placement is where the sound is going. And when you are nice and forward, that is your natural voice, right? So be sure to do some shoulder rolls. Literally, guys, massage the muscles of your neck. Massage your jaw muscles. If you have tension in your jaw, right? When we're singing, we're not as necessarily closed as when we're speaking. We need to definitely be able to have that flexibility to open larger. So that would be number 1, is make sure you are really warming your body up, your shoulders, the muscles in the neck here, your jaw. And then what we're going to get into number 2 is really making sure that you're breathing properly. Another huge thing, like I just mentioned, is breathing, right? That's another fundamental base thing that you have to be doing. And sometimes, even if we've been doing things, it does not hurt you to go back and check in with this, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are doing what's called diaphragmatic breathing, aka belly breathing, and that's when you see your stomach go out. And it's not just about pushing or sticking our stomach out, it's really about the air goes into our lungs, fills them up like balloons, right? They expand. That diaphragm that sits right below them gets pushed down and out, and that's why that's happening. Now, this ties in with what I just mentioned with tension, because if you're a chest breather, just try that. Try that right now. Breathe into your chest, whether you are doing it or not, or you're already properly breathing, just for your own awareness. You're going to notice tension in through here. Vocal cords here, the last thing we want to do. Anytime we have that tension, you're not really in solid placement, which is ultimately going to help you develop and discover and hear your natural voice. So making sure you're warming up, making sure you are applying diaphragmatic breathing. You take a nice breath in, feel your stomach, right? The lung fill up, stomach gets pushed out, and then you're releasing it. Your stomach, it's all like a big old machine. You know, your stomach muscles push against the diaphragm, push against the lungs, and the air comes out. But that's really important. And you can see other videos. I have a 10-minute warm-up that you can check out where I really dive deep into some exercises for that. But that's going to be huge in helping you really discover your natural voice. All right, moving on. All right, guys, another key element is discovering where your range is at. Now, range is the number of notes that you can sing. And this is super, super helpful because if you are always trying to sing outside of your range, you're never going to be able to get into that nice, solid placement that feels good, so that this way you can work on the songs that are gonna ultimately help you expand your range, but are really in that place where you're gonna start to feel more and more your natural voice. Quick exercise you can do, and if you don't have a piano, you can grab an app. There's plenty of them out there. Keyboard, for my females, I always like to start at middle C or C4. For my males, you can start at C3. That's 1 octave, 8 notes down, and just hum the notes. If I sing that right, see, that's a little gravelly for me, so I would say that's not in my range. And even then, I'm kind of pushing with some of the lower notes there. I might not want to cater a song around there, but that feels all right for me. It's a D there that I'm kind of like, ooh, that's not within my range. So, you know what, grab a pen, grab a paper. When you're doing this, mark out what your range is at. Try it 6 months later when you've been applying some technical things and see where things are at. And when you've been working on songs that really capture where your voice fits well. And again, you're just gonna kind of do the same thing. And I'll say within the higher range, there's 2 key things that can happen, right? We could go, right? You could say, okay, that's head voice, that's where I can hit there, but that's not gonna happen with belt, which is a big, rich, full sound. So I might test both of those and see where I'm going with that. So you can kind of do a little ha-ha up there, and then little mixing on that top F there. But I would say, okay, great, that's within there. It's not like this purely full rich belt, but that's a way that you can kind of start to identify where are things at. So be sure to make sure you are identifying where does your voice feel right at the moment. And guys, guess what? That changes through time. You totally applying good technique will be able to expand your voice. All right, let's move along. Right, all embrace your unique tone. We all have a natural tone to our voice. This is how we identify different artists, right? You hear Rihanna, you know it's Rihanna. You hear Ed Sheeran, you know it's Ed Sheeran. Adele, the list goes on and on and on, right? And the best way to do that is by finding good placement, and that comes through doing technical exercises and really feeling that, because it can be hard in the beginning. I totally get it when we are listening to other artists, and we can be a bit like those chameleons that you change color in order to fit in with their environment, right? I can almost identify a lot of times with certain singers when they are not in their natural voice, because they tend to be like, oh, almost like a little nasally. It's like they're bringing their voice up a little bit. So be sure to allow these things to sit where they feel comfortable for you, that you're hitting the note and that it feels really good for you. And don't be afraid of what you hear come out. It is an adjustment for a lot of artists to really get used to their natural voice and liking it and embracing it, right? Because we tend to gravitate towards the things that we like. And within this to really play. Really have a good time with playing with different artists. If you are not writing your own material, or even if you are writing your own material, play with different artists. See what kind of feels right for you. I always say it's like trying different outfits on. You know, sometimes there's just certain things that fit and they fit right. So embrace your tone. Be okay with your tone. And watch for when you feel like it's kind of going out of place. Good little tip with this is you can record yourself. You can make sure that you record yourself to kind of hear, oh, where's that sound going? Is it a little nasally? Am I a little throaty? Am I in the middle there? Or am I really nice and forward? You can tend to hear that nice clarity when it's there. So embrace your tone. Number 5, guys, practice, right? There's going to be lots of ups and downs in between. The only way through is out, if you've ever heard that, right? And so if you want a certain goal, if you want a certain target objective, you need to work on that. It's not going to happen overnight. I can totally recall the days of just listening to people and trying to sing and trying to discover what even felt right for me, right? And so the only way to really get good at that is doing stuff over and over again in the right kind of way. You don't want to hurt your voice, because, and that will lead me to what I mentioned in the beginning. One of the greatest ways, right, you guys can tell if you're in your natural voice is if it hurts, right? If you're pushing and this does not feel comfortable, then chances are that is not within where you are currently at your natural voice. If it just doesn't feel right, again, don't be afraid. This is going to be a trial and error kind of thing, but that's a good indicator that, yeah, you're not where you are naturally need to be. So, I hope this is helpful. As always, if you are on my channel right now, be thrilled if you like, comment, and share. Share this with others that you feel may help. Comment the things that you need help on, and like if it helped you. So, have a good one, guys. Here's to finding your natural voice.